So you end up getting sentenced to the 15, right? You're 17 at the time. Well, 18 now when you really started serving it, right?
Yeah. I turned 18 in the county.
Right. So you end up doing 12 and a half years in prison. What would you describe, like, how would you describe that overall experience?
My first, I think, year or two, I got caught up doing some stupid shit. But coming into it, like, I think I like looked at this like as an adventure. You know what I'm saying? I kind of went in a weird way. I was like excited, like, yeah, I got a body. I mean, I was dumb, right? Young, believing into this little badge of honor of like, yeah, I'm about to do this journey. I still tall in my situation. I mean, I'm like kind of still believing in the hype. And so for me, it kind of was like an adventure, but it was eye opening, right? Like to be I remember I was 18. I walked the Sing Sing yard for the first time. And I was alert. I didn't really trust nobody. You know, it's hard to like find your foot and you're just observing everything. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like I came in and kind of was just watching and because I was made aware of where I'm at. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then some situations happened that almost I thought it was my case resurfacing. You know, I'm not going to talk on that, but it could have led to, if it was what we thought it was, it could have led to a whole war inside, but it didn't. Thank God. So yeah, man, my bid was real, like at least in terms of being young and like kind of going through the journey. I was fortunate to always have some support though. So I wasn't like on jail time with no support on the outside. So that kind of made my bid easier, but I've been through my hurdles. You know what I'm saying? I did box time. You know what I'm saying? I done seen police do things to niggas. I done almost got into situations with police, but I was always like kind of trying to stay away from that. So I think for me, learning from the first lesson is like start thinking before you act. That became my biggest lesson learned at 18 because of what just happened to me, right? Like I'm walking through the fire for jumping out the window, right? So now everything I do, I'm moving with caution. And then when you in prison, is a hyper-violent space and you hearing the stories and like you start to connect with certain people and you start to see like, all right, you got to move like this. And I just started moving like that. And that was militant. You know what I'm saying? Staying away from all the gangs. I was told you I never really liked gangs in terms of getting involved. They tried recruiting me. You know what I'm saying? It never been my thing. I got like, into working out, into learning. And then I'm like a nerd on the low. So I like to learn. So I'm like, I'm going to go to school, right? So all the good things that were there, I started to attract to more than the bad things. And that really took a shape on my bid.
Why is it that we look at it as a badge of honor or a rite of passage to do time in prison? Like we look at it like this is what makes you a man.
I think because it's the false narratives that we taught as a kid, right? Like back to what you asked me earlier, what influenced you in the hip hop? We said all the stuff that Styles P and DMX and all the gangsters is talking about, 50 Cent, right? Getting shot, right? Like it's literally commoditized, right? Like it's a commodity. It's monetized actually, right? Where there's a lot of money behind that image. So we buy into it. We buy into it
basically.
Yeah, we buy into it like, oh, like that's what it is to be a man, and like I gotta stand on this, and so the idea of going to jail, specifically if you go to jail honorably, right?
Right.
Because even one of my bros the other day, we had like a debate. It's true. A lot of people who did time ain't really solid. It's a lot of people that did time that's not solid, but we did jail time honorably. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something to that. Because that's like your resume stamped. That's like, let's put it in the marketplace, right? Like that's like working at, Goldman Sachs in the finance world. You've been there. It's over. You stamped that kind of thing. So we, I think, internalize that validity early on. Like that's stamping me. I did mine. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of something.
Especially if you're able to show your paperwork and you stood tall, 100%. Right? It's almost 100%. Like this is a degree. You know
Yo, literally,
it's like I'm showing off my degree.
Yo, literally, I never, to be honest, the first time I actually talked about it like that, but that's a fact. It's like a stamp. It's like a degree. Like you could take everything from me, but you can't take away my education, right? You could take same type of thing. Like as a person, you earned that. It's like a valor, like a Purple Heart, man. Like it's interesting when you think about it like that. And I might not have been able to articulate it then, what I'm saying now. But I think in my mind is like, I got lucky too, right? Like I've been through that and I got lucky because I'm not doing life. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of was hyped that I came off on I came off on top.